Hey, remember last week when the federal cabinet rolled into town? $4 billion for remote housing, split 50-50 between the NT and the feds. $1 billion in school funding, whether that's fully funding or just bringing them up to the bare minimum recommended by the Gonski Review is a matter for debate. We spoke to the kinetic sculptor working on one of the two memorials planned for the 50th anniversary of Cyclone Tracy at a cost of $600,000. But the Federal Minister for the Environment and Water, Tanya Plibersek, was in Darwin last week too to promote her government's National Urban Rivers and Catchments program. While she was here, she talked about $3.82 million for Landcare NT for its Darwin Harbour Catchment Waterways Project, which is a bit of a mouthful. Emily Raso from Landcare NT. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
What is the Darwin Harbour Catchment Waterways Project?
Yeah, so the Darwin Catchment Project is looking to improve and establish both the riparian and aquatic habitat. So that's sort of the creeks and waterways and also the land surrounding that, looking at how we can enhance the native flora and fauna around those creeks and waterways, but also looking at how we might be able to improve the water quality. It's specifically looking at areas along in Rapid Creek and Ludmilla Creek, Sandy Creek and Mitchell Creek in the first instance, but we'll have a broader look at other potential priority sites across the catchment.
I'm married to a geography teacher and I don't know the word riparian, so I'm guessing our audience doesn't either. What is riparian?
Yeah. So really we're talking about the creeks and the waterways and also the land that surrounds it. So it's as well as the water and the wildlife in the aquatic, the water habitat, we're also looking at the land and trees and plants that surround it as well. So here in Darwin, that would include the mangroves, but also further inland into some of the subtropical forests that we have surrounding those waterways.
And what's the current state of Darwin's urban rivers?
Look, relatively, they're relatively healthy, but we're really keen to ensure they stay that way. There are certainly a lot of on-ground works that that we can be involved in contributing to that. So some of the threats to the waterways are are weeds, uncontrolled fire. We're looking at opportunities to look at revegetating or rehabilitating the plant life that are along those waterways, but also managing issues such as erosion, stormwater pollution and litter management. So there's some of the practical things that we can do to make sure we keep these waterways as healthy as possible.
Now, I'm very familiar with Rapid Creek. When all the rain runs off Darwin Airport, that water goes straight down Rapid Creek, and runways aren't the cleanest places, especially a big airport like Darwin's. What's that runoff doing to Rapid Creek?
Look, the airport does have their own plans in place around maintaining and managing, the water quality. Our responsibility as a community land care group is to look at how we continue to support the activities to keep the water as clean and healthy into the harbour as possible. And so, as I said, we've got a whole range of on-ground types of activities that we'll be looking to do, but also a key aspect of community land care having a project such as this is to facilitate community education and engagement and enjoyment of our natural places. And what we're also looking ultimately to do is see if we can build our volunteer network, such as Rapid Creek Landcare Group or Ludmilla, Casuarina Coastal Reserve. There are multiple groups operating around Darwin and Palmerston and actually right across the territory, but looking at how we engage more volunteers to support us in looking after our precious, local environment.
Now, the member for Solomon, Luke Gosling, announced this money in October. It was also a federal election promise. Has the money landed and what's it being spent on?
Yes, so it has been a bit of a slow process, as you alluded to. It was an election commitment back in 2022. So the agreement has now been executed, and hence the Minister Plibersek was here last week. initial funding amount has come through, and the first step for us is to recruit a project manager. That process is underway, and we're really hopeful that within sort of a fortnight we'll be able to progress with the recruitment of that project manager, and then we'll have someone that's dedicated on this project. And then the first steps will be working with our community landcare groups, other community stakeholders and landowners, so such as the local councils, Larrakia Rangers, and other really important local experts through CDU, to then start building the work plans or the activity plans. What is it that this project's actually going to focus on? What areas of that creek and land system? And then we'll get into both that on-ground work and the community engagement and education.
You're listening to ABC Radio Darwin. Emily Russo is from the Landcare Network NT. Where did Tanya Plibersek go while she was in Darwin?
I'm not too sure. I know that she came to visit us at Rapid Creek. We had a number of members from the Rapid Creek Landcare Group and also Ludmilla Creek Landcare Group. I believe she had several meetings in town, but I was only involved in the announcement of this project or the promotion of this project at Rapid Creek.
I see Peter O'Hagan from the Rapid Creek Landcare Group was showing her around the spit. Full disclosure, he's my over-the-road neighbour. What's the plan for that spot?
Well, so as I mentioned, there's some high-level thoughts around what might happen on each of the creeks, but we really do need to do a more comprehensive and site-based assessment and determine what are the really key activities. So things that we anticipate along Rapid Creek would be looking at coordination of weed management and fire mitigation, looking at where there's areas of vegetation that we can either revegetate or rehabilitate. And one of the issues around Rapid Creek is around litter management and what are the opportunities to better manage the litter that is in these waterways and possibly the erosion thing. So there's not a lot that we haven't got we are going to be working on specific plans for each of those creeks, but that's an indication of some of the things that are likely to happen.
Now, Tanya Plibersek is also the minister responsible for a key decision on the Lee Point Defence Housing Project. How would a big housing project like that right near Buffalo Creek affect the Darwin Harbour?
Look, I certainly think that Landcare, in having Minister Plibersek visit Rapid Creek, and that's part of the Casuarina Coastal Reserve, really highlights the community's interest in caring for and protecting our local environment. The housing development is does impact on the Casuarina Coastal Reserve and the environmental kind of flow through that area. So we certainly encourage a review of that decision, and our membership very much looks at ways that we can actually preserve and maintain and restore some of the areas particularly connected to the Casuarina Coastal Reserve.
And will Landcare be getting annual funding from the federal government? What's the latest on that, getting recurring funding?
Yeah, so Landcare NT's funding from the Australian government actually expires within 9 days. The Australian government provides core funding to state and territory landcare organisations, so like Landcare NT. And to be honest, that uncertain funding landscape does disrupt our ability to look at executing projects like the Darwin Harbour Catchment Waterways. That core funding actually ensures the organisational capacity for delivery of that project, but also our broader role in supporting community landcare right across the Northern Territory. So government support is absolutely crucial to ensure that Landcare NT does have the resources and that financial stability. I did raise it with the Minister while she was here last week, and she assured me that there was some security coming soon. However, we are still yet to hear
Coming soon. It's 9 days away. That's pretty soon.
Yeah. It's for sure, absolutely, and that's the precarious place sometimes small not-for-profit or all sorts of community organisations face, and so we do call on both Minister Plibersek and Minister Watt to make an urgent announcement regarding the funding landscape for community land care right across Australia. We know that community land care holds a whole lot of knowledge and skill, and here in the Northern Territory we've got a whole lot of untapped potential. And, community land care is really crucial to being able to respond to the environmental and climate issues that are facing us.
It sounds a little strange to me that they're essentially re-announcing $3.82 million for a project that you're responsible for, but your core funding is still up in the air a week after the visit.
Yes. Yes, it's a very challenging situation to be in, for sure.
Emily Raso is from Landcare NT. We'll certainly be chasing up with the Environment Minister on that very issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much.